Hey, I'm Rob, welcome back to PhotoBite. And today, we finally got our hands on the Oppo Find X3 Pro. And with it, Oppo has decided to get rid of the camera bump and instead go for what they call the impossible curve. Now you have to admit, this impossible curve they're going for is definitely a statement. Instead of having a raised up camera bump here where you can knock your finger and might feel a bit sharp to touch, they've gone for this one piece of glass that just slowly curves up to meet the camera bump. So it feels super smooth and premium to touch. Now we were graced with this super mirrored finished version, which is very, very pretty. It does come in a few matte color finishes as well, however, but I do quite like this mirrored finish because it does look really nice. But definitely make sure you bring a microfiber cloth everywhere you go, as this thing is an absolute fingerprint magnet. Unless you're a sadist and you like just having your phone full of fingerprints. Now more so on this camera bump, the cameras themselves. There's two main shooters on this thing. There's a standard 50 megapixel lens and a ultra wide which uses the same sensor. I don't understand why not more phone companies are doing this, because you switch between your ultra wide and your standard camera and there's a big color shift and the quality definitely goes down in favor of getting that wider shot. But with this, they're the same sensor, so they match perfectly and you don't lose any quality if you just want that wider image, which I think is an amazing thing. And definitely more phone manufacturers should take a note out of Oppo's book here. But that's not all when it comes to the cool cameras in this thing. It actually has a microscope camera. This one here even comes with a little ring light when you activate it to make sure you can capture all the detail in the microscope shots. And it's actually pretty incredible. Now it's only 3 megapixel, but for microscope kind of shots, that is just enough to make sure the image is sharp enough and you can see some really cool detail in it. Now I don't know if you've seen, but the fact that the PS5 and the controller have this like texture all over it, which are like little microscopic symbols from the PlayStation logos, and they're almost impossible to see with the naked eye, and you have to really zoom in with a camera to get it. But with this, as you'll see, you can get right up close and see them as if there were massive icons on the side of the device. Really, really cool. First time I've actually been able to see these icons in a really blown up view. That gives you a good idea of the quality and how zoomed in this camera actually is. The front camera leaves a bit to be desired. It's okay, I guess, but it's not anything to scream home about. But I guess it's a worthy compromise for such a cool set of cameras on the back. But there is one more camera, and it's the most lackluster of the lot. There is a small zoom lens camera right in the corner here, which allows you to go up to 5 times zoom or even up to 20 with some digital zoom as well. I really like the zoom function on this app. When you start zooming into the crazy amounts, it will give you a full size viewfinder in the corner so that you can see exactly where in your shot you are actually zooming into to help you line up a shot if you're doing super crazy zooms. And once you've done taking all your photos and video, there's a pretty good software suite built in for editing your photos, which is probably one of the best I've seen on an Android phone in recent years. It's really easy to use and allows you loads of control. And I think that's on purpose because paired with these cameras, the screen is also quite feature rich. The screen, as well as the cameras, support 10-bit color. So you get way more color depth and way more support for editing 10-bit color photos on the device itself, allowing you to take a picture, do loads with the color, and then send it off to whatever platform you want to upload it to. But not only is it a 10-bit billion color display, but it's also QHD+, so great resolution for this size device. It supports HDR10, which is up to 1300 nits. This thing can give you great HDR content viewing, which you don't see in many devices. It is 120 Hertz, making the phones feel super fast and snappy as you're going through all the menus and settings. Talking about the menus and settings, it's running their own color OS, which is kind of stock Android with a bit of a skin on top. A lot of people don't mind these kind of skins as it doesn't really detract too much from the Android operating system, and you can still do a lot to customize it. And this one in particular, their color OS is very customizable. You can change almost every feature about it. You can change so many features and colors and icons and backgrounds about it, and it's really nice. For the specs, it's running a Snapdragon 888 5G processor, so it's got 5G and it's nice and quick, great processor inside of it. 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, which is big, a huge 45 milliamp hour battery, which means this thing should last all day and then some. The back is glass, even with this impossible curve, so it does support full wireless charging, which is another nice feature you don't see on many phones that look like this. And a full IP68 waterproof rating, so you can get this thing wet without too much worry. This phone is definitely very, very stunning, and as you can see from the pictures, it can take some really flagship style pictures. And for the price, that makes sense. In the UK, this is about £1,099 at retail, so it's kind of in that top tier Samsung, iPhone kind of price range, and in most ways, it definitely hits that. Now, when you're taking just pretty much raw photos of this thing is absolutely incredible. The two 50 megapixel sensors make it great when you're lining up your shot and you can't quite get the entirety of the subject in the picture, and you can just switch to ultra wide without any worry about losing any quality or some weird color shifts or anything. The microscope camera may be a little bit of a gimmick, but it is a very good gimmick. It's a very good little microscope, and I found myself taking pictures of loads of things close up. Anything with skin or hair is really disgusting, but stuff like the PlayStation seeing the little symbols, as I said, or like little cool little abstract images, it's pretty fun and interesting to play with. The style is definitely screaming something about how the industry is going. Oppo are definitely the pioneers in trying to do something different with the camera bump, and we're not seeing a lot of that right now, because I would really like to see the camera bump, instead of even going from this curve to nothing at all, but this is definitely a great step in the right direction. Overall, this phone is whacking so many of the top features that you see from those flagship phones. Well, it is a flagship itself, actually. It seems to have every feature under the sun. It's got super fast charging, it's got dual SIM support, wireless charging, IP68, two 50 megapixel cameras, a microscope, a HDR10 10-bit billion color display with 120 Hz. This thing is balls to the wall crazy. But for the price of £1,099, it's a bit steep. But I think it's a little bit justified if you want this crazy spec'd out kind of phone. But yeah, this has been the Oppo Find X3 Pro. I was really looking forward to reviewing this, and we finally got our hands on it and just wanted to see that impossible curve in person. It is definitely a stunning look. I think it will definitely divide some people. I bet some people think it was very ugly because it's got that organic kind of look, but it feels so good to touch, and I've just destroyed the back with full of fingerprints by doing that, but you're not gonna bump your finger on any of that. Oh, so good. But it's definitely a very, very premium feeling phone. But yeah, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Do you like the bump? Do you think it's ugly? What do you think about the macro micro camera? Do you think you would actually use it? If so, what would you do with it? Is there another phone that you think it does any of these features better? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I've been Rob, this has been PhotoBite. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to keep notified whenever a video goes live, make sure you hit that bell as well. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye bye.